r/askReddit. What's the fastest you've seen someone fired from a job? On a construction site high-rise, you have to be tied off 100% if you walk within 10 feet of the leading edge of the building. Zero tolerance. This kid's first day ducks under the rope and walks about a foot away from a 60-foot drop. I yelled at him and pointed at the rope. He says oh, and ducks back under. He was off-site 45 minutes later. Total time about 3 hours. Interesting how construction has gotten safer. This kid got fired for being close to a 60-foot drop. While we have pictures of workers on the Empire State Building eating lunches on girders hundreds of feet up. Liability is a hell of a thing. Saw a woman come in for a receptionist job on her first day. About 45 minutes late. We said, apparently, we'd work with her on her schedule because she had a kid. But 45 minutes late on your first day with no call. She was escorted out almost immediately. Unsure about this. There are many reasons I would be 1+ hour late with no calls. For example, the subway broke down and I got trapped in a train in the tunnels with no cell phone signal. Imagine the company is beachside in Florida and come up with one that makes sense. Also, her reason was, well, you guys said you'd be lenient on the schedule. It's your first day. Be on time. No matter what. I worked for a major 3-lettered computer company. A new service tech was hired. Once he logged in, he pulled out a portable hard drive from his backpack, connected it to his machine, and started to copy everything he had access to. Within 3 hours, security was escorting him out the door. I get the feeling this guy might have been a corporate spy of some sort. Imagine that, your job is to get hired elsewhere and copy as much stuff as you can before you're fired. Of course this is completely illegal. Then he's terrible at his job. He could have used a tiny USB key in the back of the computer and copied stuff for days or months. Less than 3 minutes. Worked for a tree service for a few years, so I saw a lot of people come and go that couldn't handle it. New guys were always showing up, but this 18-year-old never had a job before. Been told he is special all his life, and he felt respect was given, not earned. This kid never made it to the trucks. We parked our work trucks close to the areas we worked in various parking lots, so our personal cars were usually parked close to ensure a spot for the work truck that afternoon. New kid parks right in the middle trying to show he is important. Before he got out, the boss set his coffee cup on the kid's back bumper and starts the morning safety meeting. Kid walks around his truck and screams to the duck, "Put their damn cup on my truck," and knocks it to the ground. The end. Did he die? He was calmly told he was not welcome there and it was in his best interest to leave. I have a friend who got fired the first day of orientation at Walmart. He went into their office in the back and got into a religious argument with another new hire, which led to him screaming and cussing. Police showed up. It was fantastic. People of Walmart, it's not just the customers anymore. It was never just customers. I got a job at a cafe where my buddy's girlfriend had been hired the day before as a manager. I walk in on my first day and she's getting canned. 5 minutes into her shift. The cafe is in a sleepy area of New England where there's a high concentrate of celebrities with homes and vacation homes. One of the first rules was to treat them like you didn't know who they were. They preferred some semblance of anonymity and we were asked by the owner to respect that. My buddy's girlfriend couldn't keep it together when a certain handsome multiple Oscar winner came in that morning and started hyperventilating and seriously putting the spook into this guy. I come in a few minutes later and she's hanging up her apron and wishing me good luck. Multiple Oscar winner. So it's not Leonardo DiCaprio. Got it. Edit. Wow. I hadn't even had 100 upvotes total. And then this happens. Thanks guys. Burn. In the lobby with several candidates waiting to take an aptitude test for a law enforcement agency. There are visible surveillance cameras. One guy is bored and decides to flap his jaw about how he is feigning disability for VA benefits. One of the proctors sticks his head out of the door and asks the guy if he was there for the test. When the guy said yes, the cop said, "Wrong answer. Get out." I got fired an hour into training to be a busboy at a Boulder Creek steakhouse. I had already bought the uniform. and was learning how to properly roll up the silverware in the napkins when the manager came by to let me know that oops. Turns out we're not allowed to hire 15-year-olds. Sorry. Bye. Those bastards still owe me $5.25. Edit. Wow. Reddit. You sure do like the idea of lawyering up and fighting things. For all the people offering me suggestions on how to stick it to these guys. Seriously. It's nothing worth fighting. It was a misunderstanding by the manager. It only really cost me a day's worth of my time, which as a 15-year-old I would have just wasted anyway. And it was a decade ago. You had to buy your uniform? That was your first red flag. Not uncommon in many states. Besides, it could just have been black slacks and a white shirt that he didn't own before. When I was 15 I worked at an Italian restaurant for a summer. All I did there was clean dishes. Not long after I was hired, a kid I knew from school was also hired and worked in the kitchen with me cleaning dishes. About a week goes by and I notice he's not on the schedule anymore. I ask one of the cooks what happened, and they tell me that during his second shift, instead of washing the utensils he just threw them away. A manager discovered this after he picked up a bag of garbage and noticed it was heavier than normal and was making metal clanking sounds. Not really fired, but dismissed. I had a big retrofit project. I needed 2 temps to assist me for about 3 weeks. Some of the work was slightly technical, so we were offering about $13/HR. The temp firm sent 2 guys, muscly guy and skinny guy. I took them onto the floor and explained what was going on. I had barely finished one sentence when skinny guy pipes up, "We get lunch, right?" Yeah. Lunch is noon to 1. So anyway, when a new unit is first disassembled, we need to ensure the bottom cover with its serial number matches her. And breaks. We are supposed to get 2 breaks. A morning break and an afternoon break. Yeah. No problem. So anyway, to make sure the bottom cover matches its chassis, we'll be setting them over. The breaks have to be 15 minutes. The law says the breaks have to be 15 minutes. Yeah. Sure. 15 minutes. But when we are not at lunch or on a break, we'll be doing retrofits. So, the chassis will have 3 circuit boards removed. The screws must be kept in these plastic cups and must be. I just want to be clear. We get full 1-hour lunch and 2 15-minute breaks. The law says the breaks have to occur at certain times. Like, we can't work 3 hours before one break then 4 hours before the next break. They need to be. Tell you what, guy, I think we can probably get through this with only one of you. Give me your blue card and I'll fill out the hours you accrued today. Turn it into your agency for payment. Thanks for coming. But I don't think we'll need you. He stammered. Then handed me his card. I gave him 2 hours and sent him off. He had been on the job for about 8 minutes. Muscly guy ended up being awesome. He listened to my instructions, worked quickly and made very few mistakes. It was mind-numbing work for the both of us, but he was cheerful and positive. If I had full-time work for that kid I would have hired him in an instant. The other guy? Douche. The fastest I have seen somebody quit. 10 years ago the new guy walks into my company, punches his card, walks around for 2 minutes and punches out. Never have seen him again, but legend has it, he is the smartest person to work at our company. I think this is inspiring. 6 minutes. Had a friend who worked as a telemarketer and totally blacked out and started yelling at people over the phone. He still lists this job on his resume. Like a boss. Telemarketer 9 AM 9:06 AM. Must look good on the CV. Yeah, you know, I really gained a lot of experience. I was working at a Nissan store. The sales manager and general manager held a meeting in which they both did a lot of yelling and said very little. Directly after that meeting they both went to their offices, where they were both promptly fired by the CEO of the dealer group. They were gone before the rest of us even made it down the stairs. I worked at a computer shop summers during college. I was supervised by a guy who taught me tons. Was a lot of fun. And by the end of the summer I was doing lots of work unsupervised. I came back the next summer, and awesome guy was in a new position. Denny, a new hire, replaced him. Denny was worthless, incompetent, and being paid far more than me. I ended up training him, then doing his work that he took credit for. I documented all his it. Though and a month in, he was escorted out. I ran the floor for the rest of the summer. Dude. Denny took Johnny's suicide pretty hard. You can't hold it against the guy. A guy was hired as tech manager at a TV studio. He walked into the studio on his first day in flip-flops and a scarf. His boss happened to be there and said, "Doug, come here please. Give me your id. Now leave." Edit note: only was it overly casual. But scarf and flip-flops are a pretty odd combo. Ever seen anyone in a big scarf and flip-flops? Also, tech manager in that position means he is a supervisor. Spends his day walking around to make sure things go smoothly and people are doing their jobs. And being the face of the studio to the production company. Responding face to face to client, ESPN, complaints or directives, and resolving any issues. Seems pretty cold-hearted. They went to the trouble of vetting and hiring the guy. He must have passed muster there. So big deal if he has eccentric dress sense. Doug, you did well today. But wear shoes and lose the scarf tomorrow, okay? The professional world doesn't tolerate hipster bullshit. One of my friends worked in a newsagent's around the corner from me. He was 16 at the time. In the interview he was asked about weekend hours. As being a student this was the ideal time for him, and he told them he couldn't work either days because he'd be watching football. They gave him one shift, and not once did he call the manager the right name. They had to take him off stacking shelves because he was making more of a mess than doing his job. And when they asked him to go around the local area with flyers, he gave some 12-year kid €5 to do half of them, and then threw the other half in the bin, right in front of his boss. The boss fired him when he turned around and saw him there. The kid earned more money in that shop than he did. I can't believe that people like this actually exist. Just do your goddamn job for Christ's sake. I feel bad cause I'm at work. Edit: to whoever gave me gold. You could not have timed this more perfect. I just got into work and logged in. 10 minutes later. Boom, Reddit gold. Thank you. Make sure to like and subscribe so we can watch together.